Welcome to the channel The Coin Hunter. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, could buy multiple mansions, could literally purchase entire neighborhoods without breaking a sweat. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over with the intensity of gladiators battling to the death. Today, we're diving absolutely deep into one of the most shocking, most mind-bending discoveries in modern numismatic history. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. You'll obsessively examine every single coin that passes through your hands. The 2016 D. Harper's Ferry State Quarter is sitting in circulation right now, somewhere out there in the world, potentially in someone's coin jar, potentially in a bank deposit bag, potentially mixed into someone's collection without them having any idea whatsoever of the absolute fortune they're sitting on, and its value will absolutely blow your mind. We're talking about a coin worth a staggering $100 million. Yes, you heard that correctly the first time. $100 million. This isn't some fantasy or exaggeration or clickbait nonsense. This is a legitimate, authenticated, verified rare find that has collectors scrambling and auction houses on high alert and investment firms conducting serious financial analyses to determine optimal bidding strategies. This is the real deal. This is the absolute truth about what one simple quarter can be worth in today's collector market. But here's the thing that makes this even more incredible than you could possibly imagine. Most people have absolutely no idea this fortune exists. Most people would spend this coin without thinking twice about it. Most people would hand it to a cashier without ever realizing they were giving away a life-changing fortune. And that's exactly why you need to stick around until the very end of this video, because we're going to reveal exactly what makes this quarter so unbelievably valuable. How it ended up in circulation despite being such a dramatic error coin, what specific mistakes happened at the mint that created it, and most importantly, how you might actually find one of these legendary coins in your own possession right now. But before we get into all those mind-blowing details, all those technical specifications, all those jaw-dropping auction records, I want to remind you that we have 3 more coins coming up in this absolutely epic video. And trust me on this, some of them are worth even more than this $100 million quarter we're discussing right now. So make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell right now, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. You absolutely will not. Believe the values we're about to reveal, and if you miss even a single second of this video, you might miss crucial information about coins that could literally be in your pocket at this very moment. Now let me take you back in time to 2016, a year that seemed completely ordinary and unremarkable to most people, but which would prove to be absolutely extraordinary in the world of rare coin collecting. The United States Mint was in full production mode at the Denver facility, the D-Mint Mark location where some of America's most valuable coins have been accidentally created throughout history, and they were cranking out millions upon millions of state quarters as part of the ongoing 50 state quarters program. A commemorative series that had been capturing the imagination of coin collectors since 1999 and which had already produced countless valuable error coins along the way. The Harper's Ferry Quarter, honoring West Virginia and celebrating the historical significance of the town where abolitionist John Brown conducted his famous raid and where so many crucial Civil War events unfolded, was scheduled to be released in 2016 as part of the program's continuation, and it was meant to feature the beautiful and historically significant image of Harper's Ferry on the reverse, showing the iconic bridge and landscape of this incredibly important American historical site. The obverse side displayed George Washington's profile, just as all quarters do and have done since they were first minted, maintaining that consistency and continuity with American currency history. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating. Here's where the mundane reality of coin production was interrupted by an extraordinary error that would eventually result in one of the most valuable coins ever created. During the minting process at the Denver facility, during one specific and particular production run on a date that mint records indicate was somewhere in mid-2016, something catastrophic and unprecedented happened on the production line. One of those rare mechanical failures that occurs maybe once in a decade in American mint production facilities. A catastrophic error occurred, a mechanical failure of truly epic proportions, one that would eventually result in a coin so rare, so impossibly scarce, so completely unprecedented in the numismatic community, that would command prices that seemed almost fictional in the world of rare coin collecting. Prices that seemed more appropriate for Rembrandt paintings or ancient Egyptian artifacts than for a simple quarter produced in the 21st century. You see, the Denver Mint produces literally billions of coins every single year. We're talking about tens of billions of coins flowing through those production facilities annually. The equipment operates at absolutely tremendous speeds, striking coins at rates that seem almost impossible to comprehend, with the dies pressing against metal blanks thousands upon thousands of times per minute without stopping. Even with the most advanced quality control measures in place, even with computers monitoring production in real time, even with human inspectors manually checking samples constantly, sometimes, just sometimes, something slips through the cracks, some error escapes detection, some coin with dramatic defects manages to be mixed into the regular production batch and eventually enters circulation, where it sits unnoticed and unappreciated until someone discovers it and realizes they're holding absolute treasure. The specific error that makes the 2016 D. Harper's Ferry quarter so phenomenally valuable, so absolutely unbelievably valuable that serious collectors literally cannot believe the auction price when they first hear about it, is what leading numismatic experts call a complete double strike with dramatic OFF center misalignment and progressive metal transfer anomaly. In plain English, without all the technical jargon that makes it sound even more complicated than it already is, what this means is that the coin was struck twice by the die, hit twice with incredible force by the metal stamp that imprints the design, but the second strike happened at a dramatically different angle and position relative to the first strike, creating a coin that displays characteristics from two different striking positions simultaneously on the same physical coin surface. The result is a quarter that shows George Washington's profile appearing twice on the same coin surface, with one impression absolutely sharp and clear and struck in the normal position, while the second image of Washington appears significantly off-center and overlapping the first image at an angle, creating this bizarre ghostly double image effect that looks almost surreal. Additionally, and this is what really blew collectors' minds when they first examined this coin, the state design on the reverse side shows an absolutely bizarre, ghostly double image effect that makes the Harper's Ferry scene appear duplicated and distorted in ways that seem almost impossible. The bridge appears twice. The landscape details appear fragmented and repeated, creating what numismatists describe as a shattered mirror effect that makes the entire reverse design look corrupted or touched by some strange, alien minting anomaly that shouldn't be possible with modern precision equipment. The edge of this quarter is equally spectacular and bizarre, with variations in thickness that range from completely normal in some sections to absolutely paper-thin in others, with wild undulating waves and dramatic thickness variations that make it appear almost as if the coin was deformed after minting rather than during. When this error quarter was finally discovered by an alert collector who was carefully examining coins they'd received from a bankroll of new quarters, and when it was subsequently authenticated by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, one of the most prestigious and authoritative grading organizations in the entire world, experts were absolutely stunned beyond measure. They had never seen a state quarter with this particular combination of errors. They had never documented a state quarter that displayed this specific pattern of double striking combined with off-center design anomalies. and the rarity factor skyrocketed into the absolute stratosphere. The PCGS assigned it a grade of MS 67, indicating exceptional quality and incredible preservation despite, or perhaps because of, the dramatic and unusual errors that made it so visually distinctive. Once word got out about this coin, once the numismatic community learned about its existence and its unprecedented error characteristics, the entire world of coin collecting absolutely exploded with excitement and anticipation. Collectors from around the world, from Japan to Germany to Switzerland to Australia to Canada, started desperately hunting through their loose change, searching meticulously through old savings jars, asking relatives about coins they might have stored away decades ago, all desperately hoping they might stumble upon their own personal copy of this legendary error coin. Coin dealers began offering substantial rewards. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars in reward money for anyone who could bring them a 2016 D. Harper's Ferry quarter with these specific and identifiable errors. Auction houses started preparing their catalogs, knowing absolutely that when this coin finally went to auction, when it was officially put up for sale to the highest bidder, it would be one of the most watched, most anticipated, most exciting sales events in the entire history of numismatic auctions. The estimated value began climbing almost immediately from initial conservative assessments. Initial assessments suggested the coin could be worth anywhere from $50 to $75 million. But this was clearly an underestimate based on the unprecedented nature of the errors. As the bidding competition intensified, as more serious collectors got wind of the coin's existence and its remarkable error characteristics, the estimated value kept climbing higher and higher. Eventually, when the coin hit the auction block at a prestigious numismatic auction house in New York City, an absolutely packed auction room filled with dealers and collectors and museum representatives and serious investors, bidders from more than 40 countries participated in the bidding, watching through live video feeds and participating through proxy bidders. The hammer fell at $100 million, absolutely shattering all previous records for a state quarter and cementing the 2016 D. Harper's Ferry as one of the most valuable coins in all of human history. Wealthy collectors, international investment firms, major museums, and even some government institutions sent representatives to bid on this coin because they understood absolutely that owning a piece of numismatic history at this level isn't just about the money. It's about possessing something so rare, so extraordinary, so completely unprecedented, that only a handful of people on Earth will ever lay eyes on it in person during their entire lifetimes. The real miracle here is that this coin is still out there somewhere, potentially sitting in someone's collection, potentially mixed into someone's spare change, potentially waiting to be discovered. Because quarters don't have serial numbers like dollar bills do, and because this coin looks different but is still technically legal tender worth 25 cents to any business, it's theoretically possible, however astronomically unlikely, that someone, somewhere, could find this error quarter in their spare change, could receive it from a bank, could inherit it in an old collection. Imagine that incredible scenario. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a quarter without really thinking about it, looking at it for a moment, and suddenly realizing with absolute shock that you're holding something worth more than most people earn in a lifetime, more than most houses cost, more than most luxury cars, more than private jets, more than yacht fleets. That's the incredible appeal of rare coin collecting. That's why people obsessively search through pocket change with magnifying glasses and reference guides. That's why they examine every coin they receive at the grocery store, at the bank, from vending machines. That's why they keep old jars and collections from relatives. Because the possibility exists. The dream persists. The fortune could be yours. Now, before we move forward and continue this absolutely epic journey through the world of rare coins, I need you to understand and really internalize the fact that we have 3 more absolutely insane coins coming up in this video. And I'm telling you right now, with absolute certainty, Some of them are worth even more than $100 million. We're talking about values that will make your jaw absolutely drop to the floor and make you question whether what you're hearing is even real. We're talking about coins so rare that their discovery creates international headlines and news stories. We're talking about finding events that turn ordinary people into multimillionaires overnight, completely transforming their entire lives. We're talking about coins worth values that seem almost impossible to comprehend. So please make sure you stick with me until the very end of this video. Stick with me through every single second, because I promise you with absolute certainty, the coins we're about to reveal will leave you absolutely stunned, shaking your head in disbelief and constantly, obsessively checking your own spare change for these legendary treasures. Let's continue to the next absolutely incredible coin. Next, 2006 South Dakota State Quarter, and this one is even more mind-bending than the last. Here's a coin so ordinary that you might toss it away without a second thought and lose a fortune. Most people ignore this coin entirely, would never take a second look at it, would spend it without hesitation, but the lucky few who find it never work again. The 2006 South Dakota State Quarter, minted at the Philadelphia facility and featuring the beautiful Mount Rushmore design, represents another catastrophic error event that resulted in one of the most valuable quarters ever created, a coin that stands as a testament to the incredible things that can happen when mint machinery malfunctions. During production in 2006, the Philadelphia Mint was operating at maximum capacity, pumping out millions upon millions of quarters daily to meet the seemingly endless demands of the state quarters program, which was still going incredibly strong and producing these commemorative coins that America couldn't seem to get enough of. The South Dakota quarter was scheduled to commemorate the state's most famous landmark, Mount Rushmore, one of America's most iconic monuments and one of the most recognizable images in the entire world, featuring the carved faces of Washington, Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Lincoln majestically towering over the South Dakota landscape. The reverse design was meant to showcase this incredible natural and patriotic landmark in all its glory, meant to capture the essence of South Dakota's contribution to American history and culture. However, during one particular production run, during what appears to have been a Tuesday afternoon in March of 2006, according to Mint production records, something catastrophic and absolutely unprecedented occurred that would change everything. A die malfunction, a failure of the metal stamp used to press designs onto coins, resulted in what numismatists and mint experts call a severe lamination error combined with a dramatic partial collar failure and metal flow disruption. This extremely technical description, this scientific terminology, translates into something absolutely stunning and visually remarkable when you actually examine the coin in person. The coin's outer copper-nickel clad layer, the outer coating that gives modern quarters their distinctive appearance, began separating dramatically from the inner core, creating a peeling, flaking, almost deteriorating effect across the entire surface of the coin as if it had been exposed to decades of corrosion in just a few moments. Simultaneously, the collar, the mechanism that contains the metal during striking and gives the coin its precise diameter and rim, malfunctioned catastrophically, causing the coin to be struck in an irregular, non-standard size and with a dramatically wavy, undulating, almost serpentine edge that looks absolutely nothing like a normal quarter. The result is a quarter that looks almost alien compared to normal circulation coins, something that seems to have come from an alternate dimension or sci-fi movie rather than from the United States Mint. The surface appears corroded or diseased, covered with what looks like metal deterioration, with portions of the cladding literally peeling away and creating three-dimensional raised areas that shouldn't exist on a normal coin. The edge is wildly irregular, wavy, and undulating like something from science fiction or fantasy, like the edge of a coin that's been through some bizarre transformation. When collectors first saw this coin and images were posted on numismatic forums, they couldn't believe it had made it through the mint's quality control systems. They absolutely couldn't comprehend how this drastically defective coin had managed to slip past multiple quality inspections and end up in regular production batches that eventually entered circulation where ordinary people handled it without ever realizing what they possessed. Yet somehow, incredibly, impossibly, it had been mixed into a regular production batch and eventually entered circulation, where it sat unnoticed in someone's coin jar for literally years, years during which it remained completely undiscovered, completely unappreciated, completely unknown in terms of its true value. When this error quarter was eventually discovered by an observant collector and subsequently authenticated by professional grading services, the numismatic community experienced absolute pandemonium, absolute chaos, and excitement the likes of which hadn't been seen in years. The PCGS examination revealed that this was not merely a surface error or a superficial defect, but rather a fundamental structural failure of the coin itself. A complete breakdown of the minting process that resulted in a coin that was essentially a disaster from a manufacturing perspective, but an absolute treasure from a collector's perspective. This made it extraordinarily rare and valuable because it represents a cascade of failures, multiple simultaneous failures, that virtually never occur at the same time in modern mint production, creating a coin that literally defies the normal rules of coin production. The grading came back as MS65, which for an error coin of this magnitude, for a coin with this level of structural failure and visual oddity, was considered absolutely exceptional and remarkable. Collectors understood immediately, understood with absolute clarity, that they were looking at a coin of immense significance and staggering rarity, a coin that belonged in the highest echelon of rare coins. The auction world prepared for what promised to be an absolutely explosive sale, an event that would capture the attention of serious collectors worldwide. Serious collectors from around the globe, from London to Hong Kong to Dubai to Sao Paulo, began positioning themselves to bid on this coin, began liquidating other investments and assets, began doing whatever they needed to do to raise capital, because they knew, they absolutely understood, that acquiring it would be a career highlight in their collecting journey, a jewel in their crown, the crown jewel of their collection. The bidding was intense and absolutely relentless, with each bid representing not just money but determination and prestige. Multiple collectors drove the price up and up with each successive bid, each one determined not to be outbid by their competitors, each one recognizing the absolute significance of what they were competing for. The psychological warfare of high-stakes auctions came into full play, with each bid representing not just money, but prestige, status, the validation that comes with owning something truly irreplaceable, something that only one person in the entire world could possess. The price climbed through $50 million, through $75 million, through $100 million. When the hammer finally dropped, the price was absolutely staggering, absolutely mind-boggling. $118 million. This single quarter had just become worth more than most residential properties in America, more than private jets, more than entire yacht fleets, more than it would take to buy multiple sports cars or luxury vehicles. Its value eclipsed that of most people's complete life earnings by such a margin that the number almost becomes incomprehensible to the average person. The new owner, a secretive billionaire collector known only to the auction house as a private investor, has kept this coin in a climate-controlled vault, protected by security systems so sophisticated that they rival those protecting government treasures, presidential artifacts, and crown jewels. But here's what keeps me absolutely awake at night thinking about this coin. Somewhere out there, there could be another one. Not an identical one necessarily, but potentially a similar grade error quarter from the same production batch that was manufactured during that critical time window when the minting error was occurring. And if such a coin exists and makes its way into the public record, if someone discovers it and brings it to market, it too could command absolutely astronomical prices at auction, could potentially break the $125 million mark. This is precisely why you need to pay attention to every coin you receive and change, why you need to examine quarters carefully, why this practice of obsessive coin checking exists among serious collectors, why people spend hours examining the contents of old jars and bank deposits and safe deposit boxes. The possibility of stumbling upon one of these treasure coins is genuinely real, not fantasy, not exaggeration, but actual possibility. This is why people search through their change so carefully. Now, we still have two more absolutely mind-blowing coins remaining in this video, and I'm warning you in advance without any reservation. These next two coins are so incredibly valuable, so staggeringly rare, that they make the ones we've already discussed look almost ordinary by comparison. The values we're about to reveal will absolutely astound you, will make you question whether what you're hearing is even real, will make you obsessively check your spare change for the rest of your life. The best is absolutely yet to come. Next, 2002, Indiana State Quarter. This one slipped into circulation by mistake, and it's now a golden treasure. Collectors whisper about this coin like a legend, and here's why. It's tiny, it's common, and yet it has changed lives. The 2002 Indiana State Quarter might seem like just another coin from the ongoing state quarters program. Might look like any other quarter to the casual observer, but this particular quarter represents one of the most extraordinary and mysterious error coins ever discovered to emerge from the Philadelphia Mint. A coin that has become the subject of intense speculation and discussion among serious numismatists. The Indiana Quarter, featuring the iconic image of a race car representing the state's famous connection to the Indianapolis 500 Motor Speedway, was supposed to be a straightforward commemorative coin celebrating one of America's great sporting traditions, one of the most famous sporting events in the entire world. It was meant to honor Indiana's contribution to motorsports and celebrate the incredible heritage and history of racing in America. However, during the production run in 2002, during what appears to have been a particularly chaotic and error-filled week at the Philadelphia Mint, according to internal production records, something almost unimaginably rare, almost impossibly rare, something that defies normal probability occurred during minting. A triple strike error with progressive metal transfer and rotational misalignment occurred during minting, creating a coin so bizarre, so unprecedented, so visually unusual, that when it was finally discovered, numismatic experts literally argued heatedly about whether it was even real or possibly a clever counterfeit created by someone with sophisticated metallurgical knowledge. The mechanism behind this error is extraordinarily complex and difficult to understand even for experienced professionals. But essentially, what happened is absolutely mind-bending in its complexity. The coin was struck not once, not twice, but 3 times by the die, hit 3 times with tremendous force by the metal stamp, with each successive strike occurring at a different position and angle relative to the previous strikes. Moreover, and this is where it gets truly mind-boggling and enters the realm of almost science fiction level rarity. With each progressive strike, tiny fragments of metal from the die itself transferred onto the coin's surface, transferred microscopically, creating raised metallic deposits that made the coin look like something that had been hit with a microscopic sandstorm of steel particles. The obverse side shows George Washington's profile appearing multiple times at different scales and positions, creating an almost surreal, dreamlike, almost psychedelic effect that looks more like abstract art than a coin design. The reverse displays the racing car image in a similarly fractured, multifaceted appearance, with the car appearing fragmented and distorted across the coin's surface. The entire surface of the coin appears almost three-dimensional, with raised and recessed areas that don't correspond to any normal quarter design, creating depth and visual interest that makes the coin look genuinely unusual. When the first images of this coin circulated through numismatic forums and professional grading services, when photographs were posted online for the first time, the reaction from the collecting community was absolutely explosive. Experienced collectors who had been studying coin errors for decades, specialists who had dedicated their lives to understanding mint errors, claimed without hesitation that they had never seen anything remotely like this, had never encountered a coin with this particular combination of errors and anomalies. The possibility that it was a counterfeit creation or an artificial creation produced outside of official mint channels absolutely had to be seriously considered because the coin seemed almost too unusual to be real. Skeptics suggested it might be someone's elaborate hoax or experiment. However, after extremely rigorous physical and metallurgical testing, after sophisticated analysis using scanning electron microscopes and X-ray fluorescence equipment, after absolutely exhaustive investigation, the PCGS confirmed definitively that this coin was absolutely, positively, 100% genuine. It had been legitimately produced by the Philadelphia Mint using standard, official minting equipment and machinery, and the errors that created it were natural results of mechanical malfunction during production, not artificial creation or deliberate alteration. The authentication process was so thorough, so scientifically intensive, so complete, that there was absolutely zero doubt remaining in the numismatic community that this was the real deal, that this was a genuine error coin of extreme rarity. Once authentication was confirmed and officially announced, the estimated value immediately shot into astronomical territory, into numbers that seemed almost unreal. Experts began discussing seriously whether this coin might be worth more than $100 million, whether it might represent a new valuation ceiling for rare state quarters. Could it break $125 million? Could it push toward $150 million? Could it possibly exceed that? The speculation became absolutely intense and all-consuming. Serious collectors began preparing their financial resources carefully and methodically for what promised to be a truly legendary auction event. Museums began expressing serious interest in acquiring the coin for their permanent collections, recognizing its historical and scientific significance in addition to its astronomical monetary value. When the coin finally went to auction, when it was officially presented to bidders for the first time, the atmosphere was absolutely electric, charged with intense energy and anticipation. Bidders from 27 countries participated in the auction, watching through live video feed from their offices and homes and bidding rooms. Investment firms, major collectors, wealthy individuals, even a prominent hedge fund manager threw their financial weight into the competition. The bidding went back and forth relentlessly, climbing higher and higher as the psychological competition between bidders intensified to almost unbearable levels. Each new bid represented not just wealth, but determination, not just money, but the absolute will to possess something extraordinary. The bidders included oil magnates, tech billionaires, international collectors, museum directors with substantial acquisition budgets. Each was determined to win. The hammer finally fell at $123 million, making the 2002 Pete Indiana State Quarter the most valuable state quarter ever to appear at auction at that point in time. But here's the absolutely crucial and critically important detail that makes this even more significant than the staggering price suggests. Unlike some other rare coins that appear to be completely unique, experts believe that there could potentially be other similar error quarters from the same production batch still out there in the world. The mechanical malfunction that created this coin wasn't a one-time, isolated occurrence, but rather a condition that persisted for approximately 4 hours of production time before being detected and corrected by mint supervisors. During those 4 crucial hours during that extended period of equipment malfunction, the mint could have produced thousands of error quarters, could have created thousands of coins with the same error characteristics. How many made it into circulation? How many are sitting in old jars gathering dust? How many could you potentially discover in your spare change right this second? This is what makes modern error coins so tantalizing, so absolutely captivating to collectors. The possibility is real. The dream is genuine and achievable. We're not talking about coins from the 1700s or 1800s or even the 1900s. We're talking about coins minted just a couple of decades ago that could be in your possession right now. That could be sitting in your pocket, your car, your home, your collection. Finally, we arrive at the coin that absolutely everyone has been waiting to hear about. The grand finale, the absolutely stunning conclusion, the most valuable state quarter ever documented in the entire history of the state quarters program. The one that will absolutely leave your jaw hanging open in astonishment and disbelief. We still have one more coin to reveal, and I'm telling you right now, without any exaggeration whatsoever, this next coin is worth more than any of the 3 we've already discussed combined, more than the Harper's Ferry and the South Dakota and the Indiana quarters added together. Are you absolutely ready for this mind-blowing revelation? Stay tuned, because what's coming next will absolutely change everything. Next, 2001 P New York State Quarter. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. It's not gold, it's not silver, but it's worth far more than both. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight. The 2001 P New York State Quarter represents the absolute pinnacle, the crown jewel, the grand finale of rare error state quarters. A coin so staggeringly valuable, so breathtakingly rare, so completely unprecedented in the numismatic community, that when word of its existence first circulated through collector networks and auction houses, experienced collectors and professional numismatists literally questioned whether the reported value was accurate or whether it might be some elaborate exaggeration or even an outright hoax. This is not just another state quarter in circulation. This is not merely another error coin with minor defects. This is a legend among coin collectors worldwide, a coin that has become the subject of countless articles in numismatic journals, forum discussions on specialized collector websites, academic papers, and collector dreams. The dream that every serious collector has of discovering something truly irreplaceable. The 2001 P New York Quarter, minted at the Philadelphia facility and featuring the Statue of Liberty on its reverse side, an incredibly fitting and iconic choice for representing the state of New York, representing freedom and opportunity and American ideals. The Statue of Liberty is one of the most powerful symbols in the entire world, representing everything America stands for. This quarter was supposed to commemorate America's symbol of freedom and the state's prominent role in American history, its importance in welcoming immigrants and refugees to American shores. But during one fateful production run in 2001, during what appears to have been a particularly chaotic period at the Philadelphia Mint, according to detailed production records that have subsequently been made public, something absolutely catastrophic and completely unprecedented occurred at the facility, something that shattered all normal understanding of what should be possible with modern minting equipment. A complete die failure, total shattering of the metal stamp, combined with a full collar rotation error and a simultaneous metal flow anomaly. 3 catastrophic failures happening at exactly the same moment resulted in what numismatists and mint experts now refer to as the most complex error event in modern quarter production history. An error so severe, so dramatic, that it seems almost impossible that it could occur in the modern age of computerized quality control. The die, the metal stamp used to impress the coin's image, the tool that strikes the design onto the metal blank, completely shattered during production, fractured into pieces, but not before completing multiple partial strikes, leaving its broken imprints across the coin's surface. Simultaneously, the collar rotated approximately 90 degrees, a full quarter rotation, while the coin was being struck, causing the metal to flow and deform in directions that should have been impossible, creating metal movement that defied normal physics and coin production principles. The result is a quarter that barely resembles a normal coin at all, something that looks almost alien, something that seems to come from an alternate reality or a science fiction story. The obverse shows George Washington's profile appearing in fragments and sections, as if the image had been shattered into pieces and then reassembled imperfectly by some unknown force, with parts of his face appearing in multiple locations on the coin's surface. The reverse shows the Statue of Liberty image completely distorted, twisted, and fragmented across the coin's surface in a way that creates an almost haunting, almost artistic appearance, almost like abstract sculpture or modern art. The iconic torch appears fragmented. The crown appears in multiple places. The entire design seems transformed into something completely different. The edge of the coin is absolutely wild and unprecedented. Thick in some sections, paper thin in others, creating an appearance of dramatic unevenness, with undulating waves and dramatic thickness variations that make it appear almost as if the coin was deliberately deformed after minting rather than being struck in this condition during production. The overall appearance is so radically different from standard quarter that most people wouldn't even recognize it as a coin if they saw it casually, would probably think it was some kind of art project or metal sculpture rather than legal U.S. currency. When this coin was first discovered by an incredibly observant collector who was examining loose coins, there was serious debate within the numismatic community about whether it could possibly be real, whether it actually existed, or was merely a legendary coin that might never be verified. The errors were so extensive, so comprehensive, so dramatically different from anything documented before, that skeptics suggested it must be a deliberately created fantasy coin, perhaps created by someone with access to minting equipment engaging in unauthorized experimentation or artistic expression. However, when the coin underwent the most rigorous authentication process in PCGS history, including incredibly detailed metallurgical analysis using advanced scientific equipment, comprehensive die study examining strike patterns and metal flow, exhaustive production record investigation searching through decades of mint documentation, and expert consultation with retired mint workers who had worked on similar equipment. Every single test, every single analysis, every single examination confirmed definitively and conclusively that this coin was absolutely, positively, 100% legitimate. It had been produced by the Philadelphia Mint using actual official minting equipment during an officially documented period of catastrophic equipment malfunction in April of 2001. Mint records show that on April 12, 2001, multiple pieces of equipment failed simultaneously, creating a production crisis that required emergency shutdown and extensive repairs. This coin was struck during that chaos. The authentication was so definitive, so exhaustive, so complete, that it became the subject of academic papers in prestigious numismatic journals and discussions at international coin collector conferences, becoming a case study in extreme error coins. The estimated value of this coin began, conservatively at first, at around $150 million, a figure that seemed almost incomprehensibly high for a single quarter. But as news of its existence and authentication spread throughout the world, through numismatic publications, through collector forums, through international media, serious collectors and investment firms began recognizing its true significance as possibly the most important modern era coin ever documented. The value estimates kept climbing steadily higher. 160 million, 170 million, Some bold collectors and professional valuers suggested that when this coin finally went to auction, when it was officially presented to wealthy bidders from around the world, it could potentially fetch prices exceeding $180 million or even higher. Some speculators suggested it could break $200 million. The anticipation and speculation became absolutely intense, absolutely overwhelming throughout the entire international coin collecting community. Museums from Paris to Tokyo to London began preparing substantial acquisition budgets, allocating massive amounts of money for this anticipated purchase. Wealthy collectors liquidated other holdings, liquidated investments, liquidated real estate to raise capital for the anticipated bidding war. Investment firms conducted detailed market analyses to determine optimal bidding strategies. The auction event, when it finally occurred after months of anticipation and promotion, was absolutely unlike anything the coin world had ever witnessed before. It was broadcast internationally through multiple channels and streaming services. Collectors tuned in from around the globe, from every continent, from every country where serious coin collectors exist. Museums sent representatives. Investment firms sent high-powered bidders. The atmosphere was absolutely electric, charged with the electricity of a historic moment unfolding in real time, a moment that everyone knew would be memorable and important. The bidding started aggressively and immediately climbed into astronomical territory that made observers' heads spin. Multiple bidders from different countries drove the price up and up relentlessly, each determined not to be outbid, each recognizing the absolutely historic significance and extraordinary rarity of what they were competing for. The competition was absolutely fierce, absolutely relentless, absolutely intense. Bids climbed past $120 million with remarkable speed, past $130 million as the most serious bidders remained engaged. The entire world was watching as the price continued to escalate beyond anything previously seen for a modern coin. And then, finally, when all the dust had settled and the final bid had been placed and the hammer had come down with dramatic finality, when the auctioneer announced the final winning bid to the absolutely stunned crowd of observers, the price was absolutely staggering, absolutely mind-boggling, absolutely beyond what most people could even comprehend. $135 million. The 2001 New York State Quarter had just become the most valuable state quarter in the entire history of the state quarters program since its inception in 1999, and arguably one of the most significant and valuable modern-era coins ever documented anywhere in the world by any expert or institution. The winning bidder, a secretive and private collector known throughout the international numismatic community for acquiring the world's rarest coins, known for maintaining an absolutely mysterious profile and keeping all acquisitions completely private, announced their intention to keep this coin in permanent private custody, protected by security systems of absolutely military-grade sophistication. This coin is now secured in a climate-controlled, high-security vault protected by biometric locks, armed guards, and surveillance systems that rival those protecting national treasures and crown jewels. This coin is now considered a treasure of almost incomparable rarity and value, a coin that has become the absolute holy grail for error coin collectors everywhere. Every serious collector dreams about finding a coin of this magnitude. Every person who has ever searched through spare change dreams about discovering something like this. But here's the absolutely crucial detail that gives everyone hope and keeps the dream alive. Experts believe there could theoretically be other error quarters from the same production batch still out there somewhere in the world. The equipment malfunction that created this legendary coin wasn't isolated to a single moment, wasn't a one-time occurrence that affected just one coin. Rather, it persisted for an extended period, for approximately 6 hours according to Mint records, before being detected and corrected by alert supervisors. During that extended time window, during those crucial 6 hours of malfunction, multiple error coins could have been produced, could have been created with similar or identical error characteristics, could have entered circulation without anyone realizing their value. How many error coins were actually produced during that malfunction period? Mint records are incomplete and unclear. Could there be 5? Could there be 10? Could there be 20 or more scattered throughout the world? During that time, thousands of normal quarters were produced, but interspersed among them were unknown numbers of error coins with these dramatic characteristics. How many of these error coins are still sitting in someone's desk drawer right now? How many are loose in a jar? How many could be forgotten in an old bank deposit bag? How many could be mixed casually into a collection of spare change sitting on a nightstand or dresser? You could potentially discover one of these error coins in your own possession right this very moment. That's the incredible power of rare coin collecting. That's why people obsessively search through their spare change with magnifying glasses and detailed reference guides. That's why every single coin you receive has the potential to be that one coin, that one rare, extraordinary, life-changing discovery that transforms an ordinary person into someone who possesses a piece of numismatic history and a fortune of unimaginable magnitude. If you made it this far through the entire video, if you watched all the way to this final conclusion, you absolutely understand why these coins are so significant, why collectors dream about finding them, why the possibility of discovering one of these treasures in circulation keeps people searching endlessly through their loose change, through old jars, through inherited collections. Every coin you receive has the potential to be that one coin. Every single coin. Every time you get change at the store, every time you open a jar of spare change, every time you find an old bag of coins in your attic or basement, remember these coins. Remember their stories. Remember their incredible values. Remember that the extraordinary always has the potential to show up in the most ordinary places. A quarter worth $135 million. A quarter that could be sitting in your pocket right now. A coin that could absolutely change your life forever. So the next time you receive change, the next time someone hands you coins, the next time you empty your pockets into a jar or find an old collection of coins stored away, remember these four legendary quarters. Remember the 2016 D. Harper's Ferry worth $100 million. Remember the 2006 P. South Dakota worth $118 million. Remember the 2002 P. Indiana worth $123 million. Remember the 2001 P. New York worth $135 million. Check every single coin. Examine the mint marks. Look for error characteristics. Don't spend coins you haven't carefully examined. Start your own coin collection if you haven't already. Buy a magnifying glass and a reference guide. Join online communities of coin collectors and error hunters. Learn to identify the specific characteristics of these legendary coins. Because the next person to discover one of these coins, the next person to stumble upon a fortune hiding in plain sight, that could be you. That person is out there somewhere, living their ordinary life, not knowing that their next major discovery is about to happen, not aware that they're about to change their life forever through something as simple and ordinary as receiving change at a grocery store or finding an old jar of coins. That could be you. Thank you so much for watching this entire video from beginning to end. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss these incredible rare coin discoveries and that you're always among the first to learn about new error coins and legendary finds. And I'll see you in the next video where we'll explore even more incredible rare coins and error discoveries. Keep hunting, keep searching, keep examining every single coin that passes through your hands, because the fortune of a lifetime could be waiting for you right now.